Algebra 1, 8-4, special products. All right, so let's just get right into this. So there's a special product. So we're talking about products. We're multiplying binomials together, and that's what we're talking about here. There's some special cases that make some multiplying them a little bit easier. Okay, so one is square of a sum. So, so you might see something like this, a plus b squared. Now you might think, oh, I can just say squared, and then I have a squared plus b squared, right? A squared plus b squared, right? Wrong. No, that's not accurate. A plus b squared is actually a plus b times a plus b. So if there's an addition or subtraction sign in here, you can't just distribute the squared. You can't distribute the power here, the exponent. You have to say a plus b times a plus b. And so when you do that, if you FOIL this out, FOIL this times this times this times this times this, then you end up with a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. When you combine the like terms, because you're going to get BA times AB, and then you add those together, you get 2AB. So that's what this looks like. So here's an example. If I have x plus 4 squared, all right, equals, all right, I just distribute this, right? X squared plus 4x, 4 squared. No! That is not accurate, all right? I have to go x plus 4 times x plus 4. Oops. And so I've got x squared plus this number times 2. Gives me 8x plus 16. Now, I'm going to tell you, for this square of a sum deal, sometimes it's easier just to go ahead and FOIL this out, so you don't have to try to remember a whole nother formula thing here. But if you would like to use this, you multiply this by 2, and then you multiply these two together. So these two together give you this one, these two together give you this one, this times 2 will give you this one, or this times 2 will give you this one. Anyway, there is a square of, well, let's just keep going. Let's do another one. You try this one. 3x plus 5 squared. All right. Go ahead and work this one out. See what you get. All right, so I'm going to have 3x plus 5 times 3x plus 5. Now, if I'm like, I don't remember this square of a sum thing, and Mr. V didn't really teach it to me very well anyways, so guess what? It doesn't matter. Just FOIL it. So you should end up with 9x squared plus 3 times 5, oh, I didn't really say that very well here. This times 2. Anyway, 3 times 5 is 15, times 2 is 30x, and then 5 times 5 is 25. So there's your answer there. You try again. 8c plus 3d squared equals, all right, do this one. Let's see how you did. 8c plus 3d times 8c plus 3d. All right, so you can multiply, you can square this, so that's 64c squared, and then this times 2, so that's 3 times 8 is 24 cd times 2, so that's 48 cd. And then this one squared, 9d squared. So there's your answer. Now, if you don't want to deal with this stuff, just FOIL it. So you would end up with 8c squared plus 24cd plus 24dc plus 9d squared when you FOIL it. And then you just combine these two like terms, 8c squared plus 48cd plus 9d squared. Notice you can swap these two c and d because you're multiplying, so you can put them in whatever order you want. So either way, you should get this answer. Oh, 8 times 8 is 64. 64, c squared. So either way, you should get the same answer. Doesn't really matter if you use this little bit of a trick or if you FOIL it, same thing. You should get the same answer. Now, likewise, you're going to get the square of a difference is the same kind of idea as these ones up here. Square of a difference. So in this case, you've got, here's an example, a minus b squared. And so remember, I can't just distribute that squared. I have to write a minus b times a minus b. All right, now if I were to FOIL this out, I'll go a squared, and then first outside minus a times b, right? Inside minus b times a. I'm going to write this as a times b if you don't mind. And then plus b squared. So notice here I've got these two that are like terms. So I have a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So this is the same as this square of a sum, but this time it's square of a difference. So what you're doing is you're taking this, multiplying them together, and then multiplying it by 2, and you get that middle term there. But it doesn't really matter. You can just FOIL it out and get that answer. Now, here's the one that I really want you to remember. For these two, just FOIL. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But if you want to use this little bit of a trick, go ahead. That's okay. It's up to you. You make your decision. Now, here is the part that I really want you to pay attention to more. And this is the product of a sum and a difference. And there's a kind of a short way that we refer to this, and we call it difference of squares. Difference of squares. Okay. Now this one you're going to use and need to pay attention to. This is if I have a plus b times a minus b. Notice they look exactly the same except for one is plus and one is minus. If I were to FOIL this out, I've got a times a is a squared plus a times b, ab, minus a times b, ab, and then b times b, negative b is negative b squared. And then these guys go in the middle, subtract to be 0, and I've got a squared minus b squared. Okay, so what we do here is I have, if these two binomials are exactly the same except for one is plus and one is minus, then I can square both of these terms and put a minus between them, and I've done my FOILing without having to FOIL. And this is going to come in really important and handy and when I take this form here and I factor it down to be this form, which is something that we're going to do quite a bit. And so that's why this is an important concept. So we're going to do a few examples of these. Example, x minus 3 times x plus 3. So what I do here, I square this one, x squared. Notice they're exactly the same except for minus and plus. And then I square this one, minus 9. That's it. I square them both and put a minus between, if these are exactly the same. All right, so I've got a bunch of these for you to do on your own. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, just a bunch. We're going to write them all out. Let's see, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do 5. Okay, first one, x minus 5 times x plus 5. A plus 2 times a minus 2. 2x squared plus 3 times 2x squared minus 3. 3n plus 2 times 3n minus 2. And 4c minus 7d times 4c plus 7d. Okay, so I want you to start here and just work your way down until you kind of get stuck, and then you can stop, then you can play the video till you get the information that you need, and then pause it, and then get the information you need, whatever, blah, 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 till we get them all done. But I want you to try each of these as much as you can here. Okay, go ahead and pause and get to work on those. All right, let's see how far you got, see how you did. Okay, x minus 5 times x plus 5. They're the same, except for one is minus and one is plus. So when I multiply them together, I should get x squared minus 25. Now for any of these, if you forgot how to do this, and you just FOIL them, you could FOIL them and get the same answer, get the correct answer if you FOIL. This is a trick that's going to be very helpful that you're going to use in the future. But if you're not sure, you go ahead and FOIL, that's fine. So now, same thing, one's plus, one's minus, square each one, make sure I have a minus sign between them. Next, it's getting a little bit more tricky here, but same idea, 2x squared, so I need to square this whole thing. So that's 4x to the 4th power minus 9. So I squared this, I squared this. Squaring this, 9n squared minus 4. And last one here, 4c times 4c is 16c squared minus 7d times 7d. 7 times 7 is 49, and d times d is d squared. So those are all of your answers for that. Product of a sum and a difference, or difference of squares. I'm going to be calling it difference of squares. Let's do a few more. Find each product. So we're just going to do just a couple more examples here. Just to practice a little bit. So I'm going to have you do this one, 4x plus 5 squared. I'm going to have you do this one, 3a minus 5b squared. And then this one, 3x plus 4 times 3x minus 4. One more. 2c squared plus 6d times 2c squared minus 6d. And then let's do like a little bonus down here at the bottom. If I have, I want to find the area of a polynomial. Or an area of, yeah, okay. I've got a square here that is x plus 3 and x by x plus 3. And I have another square that is x minus 6 and x minus 6 are the length of the sides. I want to know the area of both of these added together. All right, let's see if you can do those. Okay, pause and try to do all 5 of these problems here. Okay, let's see how you did. So for this one, I can't distribute the squared. I have to say 4x plus 5 times 4x plus 5. And if I didn't remember the dumb little trick that Mr. V kind of taught me, then I'm just going to FOIL. So I'm going to say 4x times 4x is 16x squared, 4x times 5 is 20x, and then I've got another 20x here, and I've got 5 times 5 is 25. So I've got 16x squared plus 40x, there's my like terms here, plus 25. So there's my answer for number 1. A little bit messy here, but okay. Number 2, 3a minus 5b times 3a minus 5b. So very similar to number 1. Let's go ahead and FOIL this out. 3a times 3a is 9a squared. Then I've got negative 15ab, and then I've got another negative 15ab, and then I've got a positive 5b times 5b, 25b. These guys are my like terms. 9a squared minus 30ab plus 25b is my answer for that one. All right, here I have these two are the same binomials except for one is positive and one is negative. So I'm going to use my difference of squares. Now, if I forgot my difference of squares and I wanted to FOIL it, I could totally do that. That'd be fine. But I don't want to. I want to use my shortcut. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 4 times 4 is 16, and I make sure that it's minus in between those. Here's another difference of squares. 2c squared plus 60, 2c squared minus 60, difference of squares. So I'm going to write it underneath because I don't have the room over here. 2c squared times 2c squared is 4c to the 4th. And then minus 6d times 6d, which is 36d squared. And that's that one. Now let's look at this guy down here. The area of this square plus the area of this square. So the area, remember, is the width times the height, or the length times the height, or whatever you want to say, one side by the other side. And so since these are squares, I've got x plus 3 squared plus x minus 6 squared. So this is the area of the bigger one, and this is the area of the smaller one, and I want to add these together. And so now I want to write all of this out in just all expanded. So I've got x plus 3 times x plus 3 plus x minus 6 times x minus 6. Okay, I got to write really small here, sorry. So this is going to be x squared, and then this times 2 plus 6x plus 9 plus x squared, I'm over here now, x squared, minus 12x plus 36. Now I just need to combine my like terms here. X squared plus x squared is 2x squared. 6x and negative 12x is negative 6x. And then 9 and 36 is plus 45. And that is 8-4. Good luck on the homework.